Hello, my name is Li Hao. Welcome back to Advent of Code. So the last video, if you haven't watched it, here's the link. Wait, here, yeah, whatever. I'll post a link over there. So that will be the day one, right? So Advent of Code is a series of programming challenges in the Advent calendar. So every day until 25th of December, we are going to have programming challenges that we're going to solve, and solving it will give us a star. So every day we have part 1 and part 2 of the challenge. So each part will give us 1 star. So if we are good enough, we get 2 gold stars. And today we're going to we're going to figure out how to do day 2. Let's go it. So go to the calendar and let's take a look at day 2. So password philosophy. Your flight departs in a few days from a coastal airport, and the easiest way down to the coast from here is by a toboggan. What's a toboggan? Okay. Sorry. My bad. So it's like a sled, right? Okay. So the shopkeeper at the North Pole Toboggan Rental Shop is having a bad day. Wait, hold on. Do I pronounce it correctly? Let me. Sorry, this is a bad habit of me, of mine. Sorry, where I want to know, like, there's a lot of English words that I don't know whether I pronounce it correctly or not. American accent. So it's toboggan or toboggan, right? Toboggan. Well, from where I am, we mostly speak kind of British accent or British pronunciation because we used to be colonized by British. Well, I'm gonna say toboggan. So, something wrong with our computers, say the shopkeeper at Toboggan Rental Shop. You can't log in. You ask if you can take a look. So the password database seems to be a little corrupted. Some of the password wouldn't have been allowed by the official Toboggan corporate policy that was in effect when they were chosen. To try to debug the problem, they have created a list, of passwords. Wow, a list of passwords according to the corrupted database and the corporate policy when the password was set. Okay, so according to this list, each line gives the password policy and then the password. The password policy indicates the lowest and the highest number of times given a given letter must appear for the password to be valid. Okay, so for example, 1, 2, 3 A means password must contain at least 1 time or at most 3 times. Okay, so this has only 1 A, okay. In the above example, 2 passwords are valid. So CDFG is not, because B should at least appear 1 to 3 times. Okay, so they contain only 1A and 9C. Okay, so both written in limits their respective policy. How many passwords are valid according to the policy? Okay, so we're gonna go through, and this tells us how many numbers of the character A should exist. If it does, then it passes, right? If it's not, then it's not valid, right? This tells me that 1 to 3 number of B. This says it should have 2 to 9 number of C's, and then true to that, this has 9C, right? Okay, so we're gonna get our puzzle. Day 2 puzzle. Save. And we're gonna, so we're gonna clear this and we're gonna copy to day 2 part. I think the same puzzle for every day, for the same day, part 1 and part 2. Okay, we're gonna copy day 2 and we're gonna code day 2. So code dot is a command line to open Visual Studio Code, right? You can actually to just open that day, the file that I want. Right, so same thing, we're gonna copy, we're gonna read out the content of the file, fs read file sync, and the file name is day2.txt and encoding is UTF-8. Same thing, okay, sorry, my bad, I always say the same thing, so which means if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the first video, right? So we're gonna do similar things as what we've done in the first video, right? So what we have done in the first video, or what we're gonna do now, is that we're gonna the content will be the content of this file, and we're gonna split each lines. We're gonna get each of the lines by splitting new line, and for each line, we're gonna pre-process it, right? Let's take a look. So it always numbers dash number and then space of character colon space and the password, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to match it with regex, regular expressions, right? I love regular expressions in JavaScript. It especially in these kind of situations, it's like a charm. So I'm going to copy one of the entry. So for those who are not familiar with regular expressions, you can, one of my common like sites that I try to play around and learn about and train myself regular expressions is this site, right? So for your sake, I'm going to do it here, but actually I don't really need it. So n number, so numbers, right? So digits. So it should start with a digit. We'll start with and any amount of digits, right? So it's a plus. Plus means one or more, and we're gonna put brackets so that we are going to group this as one matching group. So we're gonna do the same thing for the second matching group. So we're gonna matching group is that once we match with the regex, we can actually get the value or the content of each of the matching group, right? So we're gonna get the number, first number, second number, the character, and the password, right? So over here, we're gonna have capital S. So this should be a matching group as well, and then colon, space, and then so we have 4 matching groups, and yeah, right? So at least with this UI, you can see that it matches everything. And sorry, my camera blocks my monitor. And if you can see here, it says matching group 1, 2, 3, 4 gives me 13, 14, F and the password, right? Exactly what I want. So copy this over and you're gonna match it. So line match. Because the data itself is perfect, we don't have to worry that it's not gonna match. So so usually when you do match, it will return either an array of matching groups or null if it does not match this regex. In this case, you're gonna assume that it's always matching because the data is clean, right? So the first value, so the array will return us 5 items. So the first item is the match, which is the entire string that matches, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 would be matching group 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is called a minimum number of characters of f, right? Minimum, maximum, and then character, and then password, right? So next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna count how many times the character appears in the password. So let's see. What's the best way of doing it? I think we're gonna just do index of, and then we a quick dirty way of doing it is that we're gonna chop the password by into characters, right? And then we're gonna filter out that a character that matches with the character that we are looking for, right? And then we are going to count how much is that number of character matches, right? So again, this gives us an in this case FFF and NLFV will become like individual characters. You get the idea. And then we're gonna filter out the character that matches, and then we count the length of, so how many left of the characters that actually match. Right? Once we are, okay, let me keep this. Once we are done with it, we are going to return whether this is greater than the range, within the range, right? So as you can see here, once we map, this actually gives us an array of true or false, right? And what we want to do next is we're going to count how many of it is valid, right? How many passwords are valid. So again, we can use the same trick over here where we filter out the number of things that we want, and then we get the length, right? So you may argue this may not be the most efficient because you're creating a new array and then you can't just count the length of that new array. You can just look through and increment a variable, right? Yeah, I mean, just being lazy over here. So okay, for those who don't know what I'm trying to say, what I was trying to say was matches. Okay, so I'm gonna have this array that is true or false, a boolean array, array of booleans. And one way I can do is count how many true, right? So one way I can do is that I can do matches.filter boolean length. So this is another shortcut where it actually means like this, right? The value, and then we create a new boolean with that value. And if the value is true, it will return true. It will return the value true. If it's falsy, it will return value false, right? Actually, I don't even need this because the array itself is already it's already a list of boolean. You don't have to convert it. This works as well. And I think, yeah, I'm just leave it there. Or like passing in the function itself is the same. Passing the boolean function instead. So this can give me answer. This is step option 1. The other option that is slightly more efficient because this will create a new array, right? Filter will create a new array. Of not creating a new array, which is wasting a space, we can actually look through. So my bool of matches. Wait, I prefer to call singular of the array as the item. Okay, if I'm going to count increment, right? So let count equal 0. This will work as well. This complexity wise is the same. It's just more code to type out. In terms of efficiency, then this takes up less space, right? Since we've typed it out, we're just going to use this, and we'll just count the value. Hopefully it works. Day 2, 603. Not sure whether that's correct. Let's try submit. Yay! That's the right answer. You got a gold star. Okay, continue to part 2. While it appears you validated the password correctly, they don't seem to be what the official toboggan corporate authentication system is expecting. The shopkeeper suddenly realizes that he just accidentally explained the password policy rules from his old job at the sled rental place down the street. Well, the official toboggan corporate policy actually works a little differently. What? So each policy actually describes 2 positions in the passwords, where one means the first character Second means the second character, and so on. Be careful, Toboggan corporate policies have no concept of index 0. Okay, so it starts with index 1. Exactly one of these positions must contain a given letter. Other occurrences of the letter are relevant for the purpose of the policy enforcement. Right, so 13A means that position 1 and position 3 should either be A, right? And 13B, position 1 and position 3 should be either B, right? Either or, right? So as long as either one passes, that's valid, right? So I think it's almost similar to what we have done, except we don't have to count over here. What we have to do instead is that password minus so min. So this is not min and max anymore. So this is position 1 and position 2. And password of the position 1 minus 1, because 1 is actually index 0 in the JavaScript, right? Just different index of. So is equals to character, or position 2 is equals to character, right? So this should be the new policy. And I'm going to count. So the rest of the code is the same. I just need to count. Run 702. Let's try. Finger crossed. Oh, it's not correct. Stuck. Hold on. What might went wrong? Oh, so it has to be either one. Oh, exactly one must match. Sorry, I'm too. Yeah, I did it too fast, right? So it's either one. So it's what we call either exclusive or, right? Do you have exclusive or in JavaScript? I'm not quite sure. Let me check. Well, there's a bitwise exclusive or. That might work. Let's try. Let's try. This is my first time using bitwise exclusive or in replacement of right of exclusive bitwise operator for Boolean operator. In our case, let's try first and explain to you. Yay! It works. Day 2. I'm done. Okay, so how exclusive a bitwise operator works is it operates on a bit level, right? So a number, say for example 5, it actually represents in bit level by 0101, right? So it starts from the right to the left, where this is 1, this represents 1, this represents 2, 4, and 8, and so forth. And bitwise operator operates on a bit level. So if you have 5 exclusive OR with say 7, so 7 is actually 0, 1, 1, 1 in the bit representation. So exclusive OR will do like exclusive OR for these two bits, sorry. So exclusive OR is that it's only it must either one of it be 1 and the other be 0. It will be 1. If both 1s or both 0, then it will be 0, right? So we return us 0, 0, 1, 0, right? Only these two is bitwise. They are exclusive OR, right? And this gives us 2, because 0, 0, 1, 0 is 2, right? Yeah, that's how bitwise operator works. In our case, we are doing it with booleans. So boolean true or false, will be cast to 1 and 0. Sorry, 1 for true and 0 for false. And we're gonna do bitwise on this, right? So it's either of 1 and either of it 0, then it will be returning true, returning 1, and either of it, and if both are 0 or both are 1, then it will give us 0, right? So this function will return us a number 1 or 0. And because of that, because 1 is truthy and 0 is falsy, when you do if condition with it, 1 will be truthy and we will increment the count, and 0 is falsy, so we are not doing it. So yeah, bitwise operator still works for our case, right? So that's about day 2. If you want to watch more, if you want to know how I'm going to solve day 3, please remember to subscribe down below, and we're going to see you on the next video. Bye!